welcome to the new decade, 2020. It's weird to say that out loud. I can't believe 10 years has already passed and so much has happened. I hope you guys were present for most of what was happening in your lives, and I hope you can look back at it with positivity. When we think about our struggles and what we've gone through, and you earth signs know the past, I think, better than anyone else. And so I'm sure you're going to have a better recollection of that stuff and um, your money woes or your money wins and all of those things. So I hope you found a lot of happiness in the last decade, and there will be more to come in the upcoming year and the following years as we start a really big season, a big decade, a big life cycle, maybe. 10 more years, think of what all could happen in 10 years. And what can we set out to accomplish for ourselves? What can we improve in ourselves and impact the world around us? I mean, there's a lot of possibility. So I just wanted to make these videos to give all the signs kind of one overall card for the year ahead, a major arcana card that's going to sum up, the real goal or the real emphasis that your 2020 is going to have on you and your sign. So I've separated the major arcana cards out of the deck. I'm using the standard Rider-Waite, just so everybody, I think, understands it a little easier. I was kind of tempted to use my new Dolly Tarot deck because he is a Taurus, and I'm like, ooh, that would be cool. But that would be the first time that I've broken them out, and so I wanted to give you guys something that I'm a little more comfortable with. So let's see, for 2020 Taurus, what do we have? It's really hard to shuffle this few cards, so maybe I'll do this. Taurus 2020. Oh. Okay. So your card is the moon. This one just jumped away from the others. The moon. That's a big one. The moon comes, pretty later in the major arcana. It is the 18th card. So if you add 1 and 8, if we're talking about numerology, that equals 9. And in numerology, 9 is the highest number on the grid, which you guys should look into that if you don't know what it is. It represents, on the mental plane, it's the highest sign or division. I typically associate it with Aquarius, being the third and final air sign, since it's on the mental plane, which rules your mind, like air signs. And it also kind of has like some Sagittarian vibes too. It's like the top of the arrow, if you shoot it, would be in that 9th bracket or that division. So it's like as high as you can go. Now, when we think about this implied to the moon, I see more of the Sagittarian nature of this, because Sagittarius and Pisces both rule Jupiter. Typically, Sagittarius is the ruler, but Pisces has a little bit of a secondary ruling of the planet too. It's impacted highly by fortune, usually misfortune, as the water signs tend to attract more chaos and disruption and death than the other signs in the zodiac. And so they usually kind of have more of a journey of overcoming misfortune and setbacks and misunderstandings, and that can really be the moon. This is tied to Pisces. This is one of the zodiac cards of the major arcana, and when we look at this, the moon, it looks like she's shedding tears. Even though it's bright and it kind of looks like the sun, which gives us the indication that the emotions that you guys are going to express or develop in the next year are going to be very illuminating. They're really going to shine a light where they need to in your life, and they're going to help you express things that maybe you've been struggling with for a long time. You're really going to have some kind of aha moments, or like, you know, moments of real understanding yourself and the impact that you're having on the world around you. And so that's kind of what it is, you know. When we think of this card, it almost gives us that full moon energy, that it's like the two dogs or wolves like howling at the moon. You know, it's just kind of this culmination of something bigger than ourselves. It's kind of like collectively on Earth, we can all kind of feel that time around the full moon or the new moon, and it's just a heightened time of energy. There are these weird occurrences that happen. There's a lot of superstition around the full moon, but there's also like a lot of lessons and finalities and things coming to a close. So if we look at it that way, and also Pisces being the last sign in the zodiac, you guys could really be coming across that last thing that you need to wrap things up. This is the last, obviously, last zodiac card in the major arcana, since it's the last sign and they go in order. So this is really that secret that needs to be unlocked, that mystery that needs to be solved. That's what 2020 is going to be for you guys. It's going to be either figuring it out or voicing what you have figured out and letting other people know. And just expressing things in a natural way. It's no longer hiding behind a mask. I think with the Venus aspects in Taurus and Libra, you guys have this way of kind of glancing over things or skating over any true depth of emotion. You know, earth signs can be very cold and kind of mysterious to a degree because they do feel like they hold back something. And so with you guys being so calm and collected all the time, I think you give room for other people to have a voice and to share their truth. But Taurus, it's about time to share yours. Now, there is a dark side to this card. Obviously, the moon represents things that are a little more raw, that bring out emotions. A lot of times can be bad ones. And so when we look at this card, there could be things that you really are scared of unearthing, that you're scared of putting out into the world. If it's something that you know you need to say to your partner, you know, if you need to admit to doing something wrong, or if you really just need to say, like, this new decade, I'm becoming a different person. I'm putting aside all the fear. I'm getting past these losses that have happened to me that are out of my control. They're in the past now, and we're closing that door. And it's kind of one final tier, or one final range of emotion that hits you. It's kind of like in the movie, it's almost similar to like a climax to some degree, but it's like that one little thing that you needed to know that the character is going to be all right. I feel like that's what this big moon energy is for you guys. And it's really going to help you along. You know, there's not a lot of cards left after this in the major arcana, and that really tells you that you're on the verge of completing a big cycle. So in your journey. So yeah, so good card. I want to draw maybe a few more from the rest of the deck, and I'm going to give you guys some time. So Taurus, 2020. So we know the secrets are coming, going to be revealed. I mean, you still have your own choice and your own set of limits of how you want those things to occur. I mean, you guys are probably the one sign, or the, you know, closest to it, that's most in control, I feel like. So you probably have a better handle on like when and where is the best time to unearth that stuff, even though it is going to have a big impact. So it'll really be up to you what you want to do with it, but it looks like it's about time for that stuff to really shed some light. Oh wow. Okay. So High Priestess. So 2020 will also be about going into something bigger than yourself, something that probably could feel very uncomfortable for some of you if you kind of see yourself more as someone that's logical and practical as opposed to a little more ethereal. Because I feel like Taurus can go either way. It can be a very spiritual person, or it can be a very, um, like worldly, like logical, practical, sentinel kind of type. And so you can find it in either way. High Priestess reversed means that you just don't really feel fully confident in the answers or the secrets that are coming right now. So this being tied to the moon means that right out the gate for 2020, you guys don't know yet. That's okay. Give it time. It's just the lesson for the year. And so the moon is really the big overall card, but the High Priestess she's confident in her center, her spiritual center. And this obviously has the moon represented in the card too. Look at the crescent down there. So that's pretty cool. It's a very feminine, divine feminine card. And this is kind of that balance and order in the universe and knowing when to use your intuition and to guide others. But it's also more so, I feel like, an internal confidence. And so you guys will know it when you do, but right now isn't quite the time yet where you're coming through to reveal that stuff, to really see that stuff in a bigger light. So it'll take a little bit of time. Let's see what else. Because you feel like there are a lot of wishes out there that you just can't seem to grasp, you can't seem to hold on to. There are cups that you feel like could be more full, like you could have more. You just don't feel like all of that you do have is healthy, is sustainable for you. There's something just holding you back, and so that's again ties into the High Priestess being reversed. Is like you don't quite yet know what it is that you're struggling with deep down, or what it is that's kind of blocking you, and that is kind of the kind of stuff that we expect to be illuminated from the moon, or the full moon, the new moon. And I would imagine if the moon comes up for you guys, very much the moons that occur in your season are going to have a really big emphasis. So when we get to end of April to basically the end of May, the new moon and the full moon that occur in that time frame, are going to have big implications on your sign in particular. The new moon is always going to be in the sign that its season is in, so Taurus, and then full moons are typically the sign opposite it, so I would imagine it to be Scorpio. So it's really going to show a big emphasis on your polarity between you and Scorpio, because you work in tandem with the sign that's opposite you. So you transform through beauty and through relationships, and through, just knowing other people and your interactions with others. Because Taurus represents what you have as a person, what I own, what I materially possess, and how I value myself. Well, Scorpio is how the world values you. It's like it's everyone else's possessions. So do you treat everyone else and their things as carefully and protectful as you do your own? Do you hold others in as high of esteem? So that's kind of like how you guys transform through Scorpio, is like, do you have a tendency to destroy others or to inhibit their growth? I would imagine with Scorpio in the 7th, the people you come into contact with can be big chaos makers. So it's either like you really, really evolve from those situations, or they can be very, very damaging, especially relationships. So But here we have the Chariot, and this is a very positive card. I know a lot of people would say Cancer gets that like energy, like it's not so great. I think this one is because it shows the road ahead. You know, the Chariot is looking onward from its castle, from its home, from its sanctuary, and is like, what's next? You know, what's next 2020? That's what's coming for you guys. And so it's a great road to travel down. Oh wow, bottom of the deck, the World. So there's a lot of possibilities. Once you guys start unlocking that moon magic, you'll kind of start to see that there is more out there for you if you didn't already think there was. Because that was it 9 or 8 of Cups reversed. You know, it's like, what else could I accomplish? Almost, it's like all of your wishes kind of have been granted and they're just not fulfilling. It's like you guys are getting to this point where materially you're like, I kind of have everything I want or I need, and what is it that's missing? You know, what's keeping me from the 10 or the court cards from further evolving? And so that's kind of the journey ahead. So good stuff. Cancer is probably coming up in a big way in your life in the next year, and Pisces, so those water signs are really going to have a big implication in your 2020, for better or for worse. You know, don't fear them. They could be the keys to helping you unlocking some of that stuff, especially since they were both upright. That's a little more positive. So Taurus, what I offer you is, I guess since you are, the month of May is your prime month, I will draw 5 more cards, and if you'd like to know what those cards are, you can find instructions in the bio below on how to find the link to that YouTube video. I'm going to send you the link based off of that information. So check below, and it's just going to be a $5 fee to see the extended reading, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to start drawing those 5 cards now, and let's see what else you guys have coming for 2020 and your year of